Here we go, folks. It's time to start talking about some of these Red Wings guys who have made their debuts in the AHL yesterday and what we have learned about them. Yesterday, the Grand Rapids Griffins played off against the Rockford Ice Hogs. It was the Chicago farm team versus, of course, the Detroit Red Wings farm team, and the Griffins ended up losing 4-1, which is, of course, unfortunate for AXEL SANDIN-PELLIKKA and Michael Brandsegg-Nygård, who both made their AHL debuts in this game. In fact, though, the only goal scored by the Grand Rapids Griffins was scored by Amadeus Lombardi with 7:30 to go in the third period, and the primary assist was to that same AXEL SANDIN-PELLIKKA, who moved around in the blue line, who threw the puck over to Lombardi, and just allowed Lombardi to walk right in, grip it, and rip it. It was a pretty nothing assist from SANDIN-PELLIKKA, I'm not gonna lie. He just kind of made the regular old pass, and then Lombardi walked in and sniped it. But it's still a primary assist, and it's something that we can hang our hats on as Red Wings fans as a good sign for AXEL SANDIN-PELLIKKA to start out his AHL career. Also, when it comes to that same Amadeus Lombardi, I mean, that guy can score goals. Just the distance, the snipe, the accuracy, it's all there in the video clip, so it's awesome to see AXEL SANDIN-PELLIKKA getting some assists whilst chucking it over to Lombardi there. But I wanted to dive into some reports as to how these guys played in their first AHL game. Because, obviously, it's not really the best sample to look at, oh yeah, they lost 4-1. They might have played poorly, but ultimately, there was a post made on the R Detroit Red Wings subreddit that goes out there and asks, hey, how did these guys look? I missed the Grand Rapids game last night, how did ASP and MBN look? And I'm kind of understanding now that I've been saying Michael Brandsegg-Nygård's abbreviation wrong the entire time. Have I been linking these two guys saying ASP and MSB? Oh boy, that's been really bad. MBN, Michael Brandsegg-Nygård. That's a lot better. The top comment here from John Balaya says, ASP is clearly talented. His timing will need work, which is expected. On the first goal scored by the Rockford Ice Hogs, ASP made a soft D-to-D pass to Bouillon, which led to the turnover. Noticed on another shift that he got beat for the puck when he probably had a step on the forward going back into Grand Rapids' own zone. All of this is correctable. I was honestly so impressed with Anton Johannesson. He looked super poised with starting the breakout to Wallinder. I think he'd be an awesome D partner for Albert Johansson since he's bigger. Nate Danielson is very fast, but he's going to rely on playing with skilled wingers to have success. He's not a line driver, but still useful defensively. He looked decent on the PK too. Meanwhile, because of course this is a Rockford Ice Hogs game, Artyom Levshunov was there, and he is going to stay in Chicago next season. He should be done with the AHL. Comesso goalied us too. So, this commenter talks about ASP and the timing, just how there are some correctable mistakes that he had displayed in his first AHL game, just with deciding when to activate and when to execute the passes that he sees. Just some small little issues that will be worked out as he progresses in American hockey in North America versus playing on a bigger ice surface in Europe where the systems are a little bit more spread out and there's more room to work with if you get beat on certain angles. Anton Johannesson is going to be looking really good with Albert Johansson. This commenter says, I like the idea of A Johansson squared. Albert and Anton. We might need to start referring to these guys with their first names if they both end up playing on the same line. But, of course, if you're paying attention, this post doesn't really dive into the performance of Michael Brandsegg-Nygård. Let's go out there and read what one of these other comments says. You've got a comment from Quifo. ASP was great offensively and shockingly bad defensively. MBN was caught watching a lot. He had a couple of moments, but overall had a weak showing. I want to love Nate Danielson, but every game I watch, he just fades to the back. Andre was a hound, and Finney was a found. Another reply says, I disagreed hard on ASP. He seemed okay, and by the third period had to bail out a horrible partner a few times. So again, this assessment does fit with what we had seen out of AXEL SANDIN-PELLIKKA from some of the other commenters, that he didn't really have the best defensive showcase, that he might have made a few mistakes here and there, especially when it comes to timing and just making the right reads. But ultimately, I mean, it's first game in the AHL. We can't really go out there and blame the guy too hard. Another reply goes out there and says this: it's more details as to what happened with ASP. It was a rough first game. 2 Griffins D-men got kicked out of the game for jumping on the ice during a scrum at the end of the second period because Rockford had someone jump over the bench first. Left with 4 defenders the whole third period, there was nowhere for ASP to hide. Couple of bad turnovers. There were bright spots to his game too, though. He had a nice primary assist on the only Griffins goal. He seemed to get a few shots towards the net as well. Pretty soft play defensively, which allowed a goal for the Rocket. I think he'll find his way, and I'm sure he learned a lot in his first game. I couldn't comment much on Michael Brandsegg-Nygård. He seemed passable at the AHL level, never really stood out in a good or a bad way. Austin Watson was on a warpath last night, had 3 or 4 huge hits and all the ruckus involved at the end of the second period. So, even though there are a bunch of other folks talking about the other names on this team, it doesn't seem like ASP or MBN had the best impact, which is okay. You know, we can be patient with these guys. First-time North American players who have been playing their entire careers in Europe. It's never the easiest transition. Not everybody can be an Ivan Demidov, for crying out loud. But still, ASP would rather see him get the point than not get the point that he received, and you probably want to see him adjust some of the fine-tuning in the way he approaches the game, now that he is on a smaller ice surface against the speedier and more direct and blunt competition that you see out of the AHL cast. Not that the SHL doesn't have their speedsters, but I do think that the style in Europe is a little bit more passive compared to what you see in the American Hockey League, and for a guy who's deployed and relied upon as much as ASP is, I think it might have caught him off guard a little bit. So you probably do want to see those kinks ironed out at the very least before next season begins, but of course, if it doesn't manifest in that way, then maybe you will see ASP spend a full year in the AHL's Grand Rapids Griffins before inevitably becoming a full-time Red Wing. It's possible. I don't want to say that he's a guaranteed lock to making the team next year. We all knew that this was an idea. But Michael Brandsegg-Nygård, because he didn't really have much to do in yesterday's game, it's hard to assess him, although it does seem like he was also in that transitioning period from Europe to the AHL. So ultimately, we will see. The Griffins do have themselves a playoff berth. They already clinched a while ago, so we just have to see how they develop and get more comfortable in this league, you could say. But for now, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on AXEL Sandin-Pellikka and Michael Brandsegg-Nygård's debut in the AHL, which sees the Grand Rapids Griffins lose 4-1 to Chicago's farm team over there in Rockford? Some pretty good Chicago prospects on that team, I will say, but ultimately, the Wings guys that we have been paying attention to and wanted to see succeed didn't have the best showing, which might not be their fault, but still, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.